Welcome to the AW Services YouTube channel. This here is my Millets Eurohike Cairns 2 DLX Nightfall dome tent that I published videos on previously, which I'll add a link to up in the top right hand corner. But when using this, I've really mainly discovered a couple flaws with it really, other than the Nightfall technology, which isn't blackout technology, it's like daylight. The only problem I have, and the real gripe, is the rear sheet. I'll just unpack the tent now, if you excuse me, because I've got you on the chest harness so you can see a bit better what's going on. So the rear sheet of the tent, I'll just unpack it for you on the floor. Take the pegs out. Excuse the crunchy sounds. Right, so this is the centre of the rear sheet, or the rear portion of the dome. There's your air vent. Your air vent is there. So on this piece, which is the bottom of the centre of the dome tent, it doesn't have a pegging loop. For purposes of this demonstration, you've got a loop there, which is a piece of 20mm black webbing strap that's been sewn on, and then you can put your peg through the elastic piece that you'll find on the front. There's a piece of elastic for tension, so the elastic goes through there and you put your peg through. It doesn't have a piece on the rear sheet, and if you are in the winter, if you're winter camping with it, or you're on a hot sunny day and then it rained, you'd get condensation inside of the tent. But with having condensation inside of the tent, this sheet doesn't have anything just to peg it out slightly and bring it away from the rear fly sheet, sorry, the inner fly sheet. So you're going to get a transfer of moisture from the inside of this, which is like a polyester, to the inside cotton of the fly sheet, which in turn means the inner tent is going to get wet. So what I aim to do is, I've got some brand new 20mm black webbing strap. I buy it by the meter because I like to make keyring lanyards and fix and repair rucksacks and things for other people. I'm going to create a loop and I'm going to sew it on here with my sewing machine. Yes, you heard that correctly. I have a sewing machine. I'm going to sew it on there, and then I'm going to put a piece of black shock cord, black elastic, which matches the front. And that's going to give me then a piece, or an area on the rear sheet then where I can peg it out, and enables me to give this a bit more tension to keep it away from the inner fly sheet. So I'm now just going to spread the tent out. I'm going to get a tape measure, or I'm going to fold this rear sheet in half to find the centre, and I'll mark it and I'll bring you back. Right, I've separated the outer from the inner fly sheet, undone all the toggles, so I've just got this light green outer cover. So I'm going to get the two ends, the two ring pulls, and then I'm just going to stretch it out and pull that tight, which will give me the centre of the rear sheet. So I'm going to get a Sharpie, draw a dot, GoPro doesn't focus, so I apologise. So I've just drawn a mark here which denotes the centre of that sheet. So just double check that, both ring pulls together. In one finger, stretch this out tight. And that's the centre. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my loop, So this is the black 20mm webbing strap, same as you'd find on rucksacks, key lanyards. So I've bought quite a few meters of that, it's very handy. So already I've cut a piece to length. Just get the camera, there you go. So I've cut a piece to length and I put a pin in there for now just to hold it so I can sew that on. And then I've got some black elastic shock cord that I had previously from other projects, which I'm then going to tie a loop in that. So I'm now just going to set up my sheet, I'm going to pin that in place, and I'll bring you back shortly. Right, I've got my loop, I've positioned it under the sheet and I've secured that in place with one single pin, like so. And I'm now going to take it over the sewing machine and put a stitch across the bottom just to hold that in place, and then I'll work on securing that in a more orderly and secure fashion. Okay, I've got that set out under the foot of the sewing machine, and I'm going to use quite a tight satin stitch, which is a zigzag stitch, just so that gives me a bit more strength in the bond between the material and the parent material, the fabric, and the cotton. I'm using a Brother sewing machine, LS Lima Sierra 14 Sierra sewing machine. Brilliant little machine. I think I paid about £89 for it, brand new. I love sewing, very affordable, and it will actually go through a considerable amount of fabric. You know, you can repair denim jeans with this easily, say for tents and lightweight things like that. It's absolutely brilliant. So I've just got that set up now. I've got you on the chest harness, so I'm trying to give you a bit of a POV into what I'm doing, so the camera quality might not be the best. Right, foot's down. Just give that a little bit more. Right, that loop is now sewn onto that, and that's tacked in place. So all I'm going to do now is just remove my lower pin and put another stitch across. And for that, I'm just going to go for a standard straight stitch number 6. Just create a bit of a gap there on the bottom hem. Pesky sewing machines decided to Right, let me just rethread the machine a minute, I'll be back. Okay, I've rethreaded my machine. I've got that on a single stitch on the number 6. Just in reverse. Just going to run back in reverse. Brilliant. Right, lift up. Just going to trim my ends. Apologies for the video, it doesn't. GoPros are rubbish in close proximity. I haven't got enough space to put a proper camera, so I just thought I'd bring you along, but I will post some photos on the community post on YouTube after I've done this, so you can see really what I've done or what my aim is. Right, so I've got that stitched in quite discreetly, not a bad job, and I'm now just going to go and stitch up on the top of where that tab is. What I will do is run a stitch across the top of that loop. There we go. I'm not dressmaking, it's not the prettiest. I'm using drab olive green stitching. I've got a head torch on as well, just so you can get a better view of what I'm doing. I've sewn across this way and I've sewn up that way, like so. Now I'm just going to add a few extra stitches for security. You can also do this modification yourself just by needle and cotton in your hand, but I'm just using a sewing machine just because it's easier to do this process without having to try and push a sewing needle through 20mm wide black webbing, because it can be quite awkward. So I put my strap on now, like so. It's tidy, that isn't going to come out in a storm. I'm now going to get my shock cord or my elastic, which is the same on the fronts of the tent, and what they've done is they've doubled this up just so that you've got a bit more resistance in the tab. And then all I'm going to do here is tie a knot in here by putting like so, and then I can, with a lighter, I can melt these ends into the existing, and then they won't come out, and release the knot. So there you have it, my modified rear fly sheet of my Cairns 2 DLX tent, and I've added a rear loop on the back so I can peg in and have that so that won't flap around in the wind and also transfer moisture. But I hope this video gives you some tips and things that you can do. Maybe you've got the same tent and it's a modification that you have maybe carried out already, or if not, this video might inspire you to do the same, or on any other tents. When I had my Tamar 2 tent about 2 years ago, it didn't have this kind of elastic and this loop on the left hand porch flap or door section. There was must have been an error in the factory in India. They must have gone home early on a Friday and they've got to sew it on. So that's all I did, is use the same black 20mm webbing and then a piece of elastic, and I've created that. But if this video helps, drop it a like, help the channel out, subscribe, press the bell icon for notifications. I'll publish, like I said, a link in the top right hand corner of this video for the main videos I've done on this tent, and also check out my playlists for other videos on camping and outdoors equipment. I've been Austin, you've been watching AW Services. Thank you for watching.